time to trust in me, and you will find. And time goes by so naturally while you receive infinity.
Okay, Taurus, here's your spirituality reading for the month of July and into August 2024. Yeah, we'll get right into it. I'm using the Gaia deck and the Wisdom in the House of Night deck, so I just kind of make people aware of that in case they want to get one. And we got clarification cards from the TLC for the Soul, Power of Surrender, and the Gilded Reverie Normand is also in there as well. So your first card from the Gaia deck, Taurus, is 5, 6, 7, 8 of fire. 8 of fire. Yeah, it's about glowing from within and going outward in things. Got to be aware of our ego at this time if we are feeling pumped up because, this is not your element. This isn't the fire element. You are earth. So this is way out of your league here. But we could either hold it with grace or not, is the sense that I'm getting. And we'll find, I guess, as we pull cards where we sit with that. But the essence they're giving me through this card is we're feeling very good and powerful within ourselves. And so much so that we're going and taking action outward, which is really the inspiration that the universe is saying we needed all along here. We needed to be fired up in some kind of way. So that's a good energy for Taurus because the last 3 readings I've had have been pretty low key for that. So this means that I feel good on the inside, I'm pushing it outside, and I'm taking action where I need to. This kind of thing is all good so far. So let's get on to the second card, and that can be past energy as well. Second card comes into the present, immediate present here. There we have your 13, the Queen of Earth. That is you in your element. So we may have had a stage in the past where we felt empowered. I will put it that way. That's a healthy way to put it. Because again, this card can carry ego for me, but because the Queen of Earth is here, she's super grounded. And if she's right next to that card, it just balances that out. Like, we ain't in our ego too far. We got some humility here. We don't, our feet don't leave the ground too far before we come back down. We just don't feel good being overly energetically pushy in that way. And when I say energetically pushy, that's my own word. That's not theirs. I'm trying to translate energy where if somebody's pompous and they push that energy outward, that's what I mean by that. They kind of make others look at them and pay attention to them, and like egocentric people. This is, the word for that. Try and translate. But I don't feel like this Taurus has gotten too far off the ground. We may have, like I said, in the past, had some energy flow into our universe that maybe was meant for us to kind of get us moving on certain scenarios. And I feel like that all lined up. And I feel like the Queen of Earth, they got what they wanted to accomplish done, is the sense that I get. So that could be anything as menial as tasks that we've been putting off, or a job or some kind of scenario that we wanted to attain, and it's come to a point here where the Queen of Earth, she's got it. She's accomplished it at this time. So there's something here about accomplishments. Yeah. So the next card, into the future, where do we head? With the Gaia deck. 10, 15, 16, 17 journey. The reason I do that, I have to count it out, is because it's a lot of times I count wrong, or I don't have my glasses on and I'm seeing 2 strikes instead of 1, and it's like Roman numerals, So I have to look at the bars and have my glasses on, and got my glasses on. Had an awesome cup of coffee, by the way. Super good. I had Colombian today, so it's like, wow. Didn't know what I was missing there. Anyway, good morning. So yeah, it's morning here at this point. The journey of light and dark. We may be, just beginning our search in this way. We may be accomplishing. The Queen of Earth, she just gravitates to regalness. There's things come at her, flying at her. She can refuse or reject anything that she wants. She can take in or whatever. And usually with the Queen of Earth, when we get to that, how would you say, that element, right? We're in a place where we know internally exactly who we are and what our parameters are. And the journey card here, I feel, is that external world agreeing with that. I think we've always known who we are and what we want, but we may not have gone outward to push that energy. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying in an ego sense. I'm just saying people may have been around us and not known exactly how we feel or what we think about situations because we hold it back. We don't interject. We let other people impress upon us. And I feel like the journey is going to start to begin now for this Taurus spiritually so that they can have confidence in going outward in who they are and start to make others understand them more. Because not only were we holding back spiritually who we were, I feel like part of it is out of graciousness, oh, don't worry about me, let's talk about you, like this kind of thing. It's like an accommodation factor. But now we're coming from a sense of self-esteem, a higher sense of self-esteem. This is kind of what I'm getting. This is good because it shows development in the self-worth department. So that's always a good thing. And even though there may be still situations where we kind of don't know what we think about certain things, we're going to figure it out. And it's in the Taurus. The Taurus, just slow and steady, they're going to figure it out. So along this path, that's what we're doing. And I feel like we're starting the journey to allow others in more to who we are. That makes sense. It's a hard explanation here because it's a lot of internal stuff suddenly going external. So anyway, my words are escaping me this morning, but the bottom line here is the Taurus is on a journey of self-discovery. Okay, there we go. Boom. They're putting their first foot forward and they're allowing others to see them more clearly. And I don't know in the past if they just didn't know who they are. Like I said, that earth element, they're pretty solid and sturdy in who they are, but they never paid attention to it. And they allowed other people to kind of doormat over them. So now we're going out in the world with a stronger sense of self, is what they said, quote unquote. Stronger sense of self, and we're going to allow others in more. It's going to be a life-changing experience, though the I want to say Capricorn, but the Taurus is going to take it in organically, is the sense they're giving me. So hopefully that makes sense. Okay, so as we move into the next row here, the 8 of Fire. Somewhere in the past, we got a fire under our butt. I feel like that was energetically infused. I feel like that was instinctive. I feel like that was something that needed to come into our path to get us in alignment with this new energy field of going outward in this new way. A lot of people hitting new heights, right, of spirituality. And this is all part of, the plan, right? The plan to get you in line with advancing forward. So on top of that energy of the 8 of Fire, we have from the Wisdom of Night deck, the High Priestess of Air. A lot of elementals coming in here. Now, air is not your element either, but this is, air carries for me a lot of thought processes, thinking, analyzing, being critical of self. And again, this could be a good thing or a bad thing. For the Taurus, I feel it's a good thing because we're actually looking at the self and going, what is it I like about myself? What is it I don't like? And I'm going to change those things I don't like. And I'm going to keep those things I do like. And I'm going to go forward. And that's my opinion. And I trust and judge my own self in my own way. And I want to make my own self better. And that's why they're feeling better about themselves, because they're paying attention to those things they don't like and they're making adjustments there. And it's all in the thought process. They're spending a lot of time thinking, because I'm getting someone with their legs curled up on the couch and they're just sitting there thinking by themselves in peace and quiet. And this is, it's all part of the allowing your intuition to flow over you. They're sitting and thinking, how would I be a perfect me? And that's exactly what they want you to do, by the way. They want you to get into that energy. So this is all in the flow of instinct coming through to help guide you along your path of self-discovery. So yeah, it's here. It's there. It's everywhere for the Taurus. And they're feeling, again, it's not like they're all excited and, but they're feeling very grounded. And they're going to be more grounded in self. And that's just more natural for the that earth sign to attain here, because I think the lack of self-awareness threw them off, but they didn't quite know what to do to get to self-awareness. But paying attention, thinking, I think was not the place they thought they should go. Thinking and thought, how do you explain that? In the bigger scheme of things, they thought they need to be physical, they need to have a job, they need to have a house, da, da, da. It's all about the physical things. With the element of earth, that's what it is. It's in the physical. So when they remove themselves out of their element and they get into the air, where we talk about the thoughts, let's just think here instead of dealing with physical things and manipulating things in our universe. Let's think about how we can manipulate the self. Hopefully this isn't a good way. I think it would be, because all of these things are telling me that you're going to start a journey here of self-discovery and not only become wholly who you are, but see yourself more clearly in the bigger picture. And that allows you to get to a point where you can see the highest version of self. And this is what we can strive to attain, right? More clearly. So, Queen of Earth, on top of that card, again, this is your element right smack dab in the middle. This is what we're dealing with right now. We are comfortable in our skin. Okay, this is really what I get. On top of that energy, we get focus. Yeah, they're saying there's a hard time focusing. We're getting distracted, as is everyone. Because again, spiritual wars going on, trying to pull you off your track. So just be aware of that and spend extra time focusing on those things of self, because they are hugely important. They open gateways, they open energy channels to you, and they also close them and shut them down. So I feel like we have been closed and shut down in the past. I feel like we got a fire under our butt. Universal energy, infuse some energy into you. And then suddenly we've seen a change there, a contrast there, and now we're flowing off that contrast and we're going in the right direction, is a sense. We just have to keep our focus on what matters. And right now it's the self and gaining confidence of self to go outward into the public. This is what I'm getting. So we may have been in a mode of hermiting away from people, or even though I don't have that card, I get that sense. Like we had a low point where we just, and I wouldn't say, how would you say? They're going, be gentle with the be gentle with the enclosure, words like that shutting down of things, because the Taurus is not seeing it as such, but this is very much within their energy field, what they're doing. They're isolating themselves. They're coming out of something brought about a situation where they're coming out of that isolation. And now they just have to keep their focus in the direction that they're going. Now, we have things of our past that are kind of getting in the way of our present and our future. And again, be careful of that. Do your due diligence in the way of keeping focus. So that means paying attention to details and making sure you accomplish those things. Because I feel like the Taurus is more than worthy of accomplishing things. In fact, they have a high pride in accomplishing things in the most perfect way that they see fit. So they just have to do that in the way of self as well. Okay. So on the journey path, as we move into the future, what do we get for the wisdom card? Oath. Man, this oath card's going through. Okay. We got to be careful what kind of oaths we make, right? Because the energy switch not only is more powerful to bring in spiritual energies and allow you to see more spiritual gifts and utilize more spiritual gifts in the way of enlightenment, but it also reacts more powerfully to our words and our thoughts, right? And there's a lot of thought processes going on. I feel it's very constructive of self. We're dealing with the self. We're working with things that we don't like, and we're fine-tuning. That's all good. But we got to be careful. Some oaths may be, what's the word? Maybe caught up in dogma is the word. So be careful of that. Belief systems here is what I'm getting. We are on a journey of discovery here. And what this brings me to is religion, I think, is a sense here. All I'll say here, because I don't like to infringe, because I feel, even though I don't choose religion, I feel certain people need religion in their life in order to get them on the right path. If you take it out completely, it doesn't help. But there's things that can be overblown in it, or, out of balance in it, that can throw you as well in the wrong way, lock you out of things spiritually. And the sense that I get here is that we got to be careful with our words and the promises we make universally, okay? Because there's someone listening. It's not just, on a good day, I'll make a promise. You know what I mean? This is the sense I'm getting. On a good day, when we feel great and wonderful, we're going to go make these promises to the universal energy, and they're going, we will be looking for payment here. In a sense, we will be looking for your support here. So I think what they're saying, this has to do with faith in some kind of way here. Now, give me a moment. I don't like infringing on people's ability to have religion, because I feel it is a essential cog in the developmental process. You can't just take it out and then carry on. It doesn't work that way. It is an evolution step that is needed in people's lives. So you can't remove it completely. There's too much to learn there, but again, there's certain facets and dogma, things that are set in stone that may not be good for one individual person, right? And this is what we're talking about. So be wary of that. Be careful of that. I feel like we're just starting that journey. And I think what they're trying to say is there's a lot of areas here we can be tripped up. And the Taurus likes details, everything in black and white. You write all those things down you expect of me, and I will stand up for those things. And the universe is expecting the same. So how would I express that in a way that is digestible? Yeah, they're going real world experience. So give me a moment here. Okay. They're showing me an example of somebody. Okay. Like ups and downs in life, right? Slow times, high tide, low tide, at times in your life where things are fast paced and everything's going and you only have time for a limited amount of stuff. So you do with the essentials. And then other times where you lack a lot of time on your hands and you do things different. So this may be something that we have exposure to either over this time or in the future. Ups and downs is what they're showing me. And they're talking about pace of life. Times when things are fast-paced, times when things are slow-paced. And we have to be able to deal with those balance those out gracefully. And that also applies to dedication to things like religion or faith or something of faith here, is the sense they're giving me. Now, because what they're showing me is someone who's, okay, so they got to slow down in their life. Everything's at a standstill. Nothing's going on. So they dip into their religious side and they start making commitments, okay? Not only of the heart and head to the universe, between you and the universe itself. You're making promises, but you're making them to other people as well. And then life speeds up, and then we kind of ditch that and we let it go. This is what they're making their focus on. They're like, we need to balance that out. And in the low tide, if we're dipping into the religion 24/7 during low tide, and then when high tide comes along, we kind of let it go by the wayside. They're going, all we have to do is balance it out. And again, don't let anybody override our boundaries, whether it's through religion or not. And you know, I had this thought come in my mind the other day. Because I'm non-denominational, which means I don't really conform to any one religion, but I do believe in a higher power, and I look at it a little differently than most people. Because of what I've been through and the experiences that I have on earth, I can't believe certain things. And I don't push that on other people per se. I realize that other people have to have religion in their life in a certain period of time, maybe all through their life, whatever it may be, to straighten them out. And if they need that, then so be it. And I feel like we want to invest in something here, but it's in an imbalance, or it will come at imbalances, and it may be a frustration point for us. So we're trying to prevent that for you by informing you that just take it easy. Just go in slowly. You don't have to go in obsessively. We don't have to imbalance our lives. And we should always, no matter if it's religion or family or whatever, we should always have a great balance of work, play, home, and whatever, hobbies. You know, this should all be in play where we have, you know, we consider our family. Like, we don't set our family aside for religion, because that just is pointless, right? That's oxymoronish, right? So it's like, no, we make it, if it's only 25% of our life and that's what we can handle and that's what we can keep steady, then that's what we need. But this 100%, 20%, you know, or 100%, 0%, they're going, we just need to balance it out, and that will help our self-esteem more in the long run, because there's a self-worth that gets deteriorated when we don't put any effort in this faith area. And what we're doing is we're giving 100% faith and pushing other things to the side, not being balanced. And then, you know, when we have time, then, or that's when we have time. When we don't have time, then it's pushed out because we got to deal with other stuff. So just keep it in play. Just keep it in balance. And just dip your toe in there. And as much as you can handle, you know, again, our pace of life is going to be adjustable over this time. Meaning, it's not going to be steady busy, steady calm. It's going to be up and down. So keep that in mind as you make plans with your faith and oaths that you make. Be careful, because we can make an oath and break it and then feel destroyed of self. And I get that with the Taurus. They're very chastising of self if they don't keep their oath. And they're going, consider that, because our pace of life will change. And I see a very up and down scenario here. So just keep that in mind. I think that's what they want you to do. Because it'll create bumbles for you that are just frustrating and can create havoc. And they want to relieve you of that. So beware of the oaths you make to the universe and also to family and self, having to do with balancing your life and your religion or your faith. I'll put it as faith. Yeah, okay, so that's hugely spiritual. That's all good. Okay, High Priestess of Air. When we get to our past, something came in here in a fire element and got us moving and put some puzzle pieces together, is the sense that I get, having to do with self-worth. The High Priestess of Air, we had a lot of thought about all of this change that has happened over this time. Though it is not drastic, to others it will There'll be something about you. I can't figure it out, but something's different. And the thing is that we've settled more nicely into ourself. Is really what's going on here. So on the High Priestess of Air, that's about mulling all of those things over, which is good because we refresh our mind that, yes, this meant something and I didn't realize this and now I do. And, you know, again, I was talking to another sign about going over your day at the end of the day. How good of a human did you end up being? What would you give yourself on a scale of 1 to 10? Was I superhuman? You know, almost angelic self. I went out and I was helping everybody today, humanity. Or, you know, I isolated myself and I really didn't come in contact with anybody. But I figured out a lot of things, so I'd be about a 7. You know, where do you land on your day? At the end of the day, try and review your day. I think they're getting me to do this as well more. They're wanting me to do this more. Sorry, one of the boxes fell. So anyway, reviewing your day could also help your spiritual path here. Help you. It's like they're showing me multiplying solutions, right? So things that we may have had blocks or, you know, couldn't figure things out. Suddenly we're going to figure everything out and it's all going to be in line and da-da-da. So on the High Priestess of Air, what do we get? For the Gilded Reverie Lenormand. Again, 22, that path. Which road are you going to take? I feel like in the path we realized that we were on the wrong way, or there was something about the way we were living life that needed to change. Queen of Pentacles, or Queen of Diamonds is the Queen of Pentacles. That is your element again. Is basically stating we made the right decision, you know. We went in the right way. We felt, seen, heard something was off, and we adjusted. This is all in the parameters of what we needed to do. So now we come into the present. We're talking about this focus card, and again, we may be distracted by things in our past or the way that things were or whatnot. But the sense is, keep your focus in the right direction. We know where we need to go. We were taking steps in this direction. We're starting the journey. Away we go. So on top of that energy, we get the 8, the sarcophagus, which is about death and rebirth. And that's what's going on here, is there's a rebirth going to your future. We want you in a new energy. There's a death of the old self. And though that sounds like extremely, you know, morbid or whatever, it is of the spiritual self. So there's a certain part of us that has to leave in order to make way for this new self that we've discovered. And we want to go in this new direction. I don't feel we have any remorse for the old self. I think we are congratulating ourselves and are thankful that we see and have discovered on our own what was wrong here, or what needed adjusting, or the parameter, right? We're seeing it, we went after it, and we move forward. I feel like in the past there was a mindset we had that we released, and now we're able to see things clearly, is the sense that I get. So that's the death card in the middle, is about now realizing we're going forward in a new way. It's all good. This is kind of, not only is growth the energy of the whole set of readings this session in spirituality, but new ways of being. Old self is passing and the new self is growing into new energy, which is all good and great. It just lines up exactly with what is going on the earth. I'm trying to spit too many words out at once. Okay, on top of the Oath card is we drop the last Gilded Lenormand. You get the Maze. Okay, so there's going to be a bit of running about here, figuring things out. But again, the Taurus kind of tries to not leave any stone unturned. I feel like they're going to relax a little bit on themselves because they've discovered so much in the recent past. And they've changed so much. They feel like they can kind of take it easy a bit. And, you know, but in their mind, I think the processes are going to lead them back and forth a little bit as we discover new ways to attack new questions that we have. New frontiers, basically. and the maze, they're just kind of showing me a sense of being lost in some things. We are more secure in self, but that doesn't mean we have all the answers, right? It just means we feel more secure in how we go forward, but as we go forward, we may get confused, okay? And this is all part of that. I mean, we can't have all the answers all the time, they said. It'd just be boring. There'd be no, no interest in life or no fervor. So, yeah, so there's a sense of running through a maze in the future. So I feel like what it is, though, I think just be careful of what is said and the commitments we make, even when we're sitting alone talking to God himself or whoever it is up there that you think. When we're alone sitting with our maker, okay, be careful what is said, because that is very highly... how do you say? It has the potential to destroy your character if we don't stand up for those commitments. And those are the ones that we feel that are not seen and heard. So it's almost like we're shifting to people and things. And I'm not saying you should shift and make people and things less prominent. That's not the word either. Less important. But on a spiritual sense, we need to have high importance here of standing up for our word in thought, even though it's like we believe in someone there, but we believe they forgive us of all of our transgressions. And the thing is, we're making more and more transgressions, and that is chewing away at our self-worth. So really, we're building up in one area because we haven't got organized in our faith. Our faith area is kind of something we take in when we need it, and then we remove it when we don't. It's kind of like that's what they're saying. It's just keep the balance. We don't, and if we can't do it, then you make adjustments. I don't know how to say. It's like someone who's trying to prioritize faith in their life. And it's in an imbalance. That's all I can say here. Maybe just highlighting that will make that more of a priority, and we'll balance it out and not overly try too hard so that when we're busy, we can't infuse the energy at that time. Something to do with these oaths that we're making. And I feel like the universe is taking high account of people and their words to them. And a lot of people, I would say, in their heart, if they have no faith, sometimes they'll pray to God anyway. You know what I mean? It'll be like in their moments when they need something or whatever, they will do that. And it's kind of like that. It's like I don't pay any mind to you on the regular, but when I need something, you got to be there. And the thing is, it's our character. Yeah, we're chewing away at our character because we're not standing up for spiritual values. Is kind of what I'm trying to. It's like I'm getting a 360. I can't express it, but I try a few more times to say it in a different way, hoping it'll get through. And I feel like it's kind of not getting through, but we are realizing there's an old self that went away. We're tweaking our new self as we go forward. Our faith has a lot to do with our self-worth, and they're saying be careful what promises we make in this area, because that can bring us down. So don't overly jump into this area, start making promises with God, and then just not following through, because it's like any other agreement. It chews away at your character. If you don't follow through, you feel it. It's that little nagging feeling that I don't feel good about myself. We've made a lot of progress here. We don't want to start chewing it back away by feeling guilty. And again, that is because the sense they're giving me is someone's going in, making promises to the universe. They get busy and they forget, and then they go, that's okay. God forgives. Like that kind of thing. And it's like, no, there's an agreement here between two people. Think of it like an agreement between two people. If you make an agreement, okay, I'll pay you so much for that tractor. Okay, agreed. You shake on it, and then you go there, you pay the money, and the guy gives you the tractor, right? Now it's coming in more clearly. The thing is, when we make an agreement, don't back out of it. Don't back out of your side just because you don't see us and hear us and feel us in certain moments of your life. We are always there. So it's almost like maybe we got payment from the universe for something. Maybe we got something we asked for from that genie up above. Maybe we got, but in order to get that, we were supposed to put in some kind of work here. And beware of that oath that you make. I promise to do this if you give me this. This is what I'm getting. Direct line. Because they're going to cash in. If we don't cash in, then things get taken back away. Beware of that. That's what it is. Okay. Okay, Taurus, that's an interesting. But it's all good because we're all in the upswing. So your clarification cards or your end of the row cards here. TLC for the soul cards. What do we have for Taurus? Self-believing and beyond. That's cool. Castles in the sky, dreams can hang in a balance, sometimes dangling on barely a thread. And that's kind of what I get here, is our faith is dangling on a thread. We've made some questions and we've got some answers. There's some feedback is what I get. The universe has input. Now it's your turn. And there should be a conversation of back and forth. And this is what we're trying to upkeep to keep going in this way. So, you may find yourself grasping at wisps of visions in the busy intersection of expectation. You may become frustrated when nothing or only very little appears to be happening. Although time may have dashed your hopes or rerouted a few prayers, nothing is lost. Isn't that something? That's exactly... These cards, they nail it, you know? What is needed now is to keep your sights set on the goodness within you and around you. Keep believing in the beauty and the truth of your heart's desire. Only then will you be carried on the winds of hope and faith. Look at them ended in the word faith. Because I was getting that. It's faith, whatever way it is. There's something about the faith here. Castles in the sky, dreams can hang in the balance, sometimes dangling, barely on a thread. I feel like that's what it is. We go from dangling by a thread to grabbing all the strings with all our might. Dangling by a thread, grabbing. So just balance that out, yeah, is the sense. Now, there's some good stuff in here. Busy intersection of expectation. That's what I get. It's like we expect a lot from the universe. Be careful of that. You may become frustrated when nothing or only very little appears to be happening. I feel like in the past, we had more experience with nothing happening. Then we had a flame of stuff coming in, a lot of action coming in that way, answers, whatever it may be. That faith and hope was ignited, okay? And then it goes down again. And that's the thing, it's very inconsistent for this person. What is needed now is to keep your sights set on the goodness within you. Yeah. And that is the bottom line. Whether someone believes in religion or not, like, you know, there's so many people conflicted about, you know, what you believe, or you go to hell, or what, you know, all this stuff. And to me, it's like, I've basically been told what you believe is what you get. And there may be people, ironically, that, and I've found this situation through what I've seen, there may be people that believe they're highly religious, highly, you know, devout to God and Jesus and whatnot. But they can carry great judgment against another because they're not where I'm at, but they're not, sometimes people aren't meant to be where you're at. Judgment is a huge thing that I have to learn to balance out at this point, or that I'm focusing on at this time, is judging people for it. It's hard to kind of take that hovercraft and go way up, you know, way up and see everything. It's hard to do that when you're in and amongst people and their opinions. When you get down into the details, it's hard to do that. But I think overall what they want you to do is just be a good human being. Like there's this dude on the thing. He's got, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to double drop. Because he does reactive videos to videos that I've put on, and that's how he came on my feed. And he talks, sometimes he does reaction videos. Now he's into a lot of the news stuff. But anyway, he's just a decent, you could tell he just glows in a good way. He's just a good human. And he just wants other people to be good humans. And he's passing that word on. And a lot of people follow him for that. So it's all good stuff. And that's really what it's about. It doesn't matter. You don't need the approval of the universe is already there. As long as you're putting in effort to be that good person and go in a good way, you can't reserve your place in heaven. You can't do that. You can if you're a good person to yourself and others. That's how you do that. That's how you reserve it. And there's some people that go to church, devout Christians, that it's 100% of their life is devoted, but there's judgment there. I've heard of a near-death experience where this person, they ended up going into kind of a hell, what they considered hell, and it's because of their belief system that they put upon themselves. They were in judgment of others. And that caused them to be in a negative space because they were excluding people, not being compassionate towards others because of certain things that they did, whatever. And that actually brought in that negative field. So that made me think on a different level of things as well, because there's a lot of times I judge people. I try not to hold it for very long, but I'm only human. I feel things. And when people do bad, well, it's hard not to judge that, right? So you get caught up in that. But, again, you got to see from higher. And the more you advance, the further away you get from that anger and bitterness towards another. And the more you get to understanding why that person did what they did or why. And then it's not that they're getting away. It's just you understand the bigger picture here. So you can be more compassionate. Doesn't mean you approve of it. It just means that you understand in the bigger scheme what's going on. And then when you're down in it, sometimes you don't have no perspective there whatsoever. And I feel like that's what I'm getting here. Just be good. And don't worry about the details. Don't worry about reserving your place in heaven. Don't worry about, am I sinning in this way, that way, or another. Because I think sometimes you can get so caught up in regulation when it comes to religion, especially, that this is a sin, that's a sin, this is a... But are you being a good human overall? If you are, then don't worry about the details. They'll fall in line the more good you are. The more good you are, the less you will worry about what's wrong. And I'm talking about, again, people that know right from wrong and that are decent human beings, that are, trying to follow the rules here. And again, I feel as Taurus is not one of those people that's going to step out of line either. So I feel like, only then, after you keep believing in beauty and truth of your heart's desire, can you be carried on the winds of hope and faith. So let that carry you. Okay, spending way too much time on a card. Anyway, next card. What power surrender cards? What can we let go of? Surrender to setting limits. There it is. Rules, boundaries. And Taurus are very good at that because they'll beat themselves up black and blue because they set a limit and they didn't stand up for it. And in the bigger scheme, I think that's really what it's about. Beware of what you set your limits on because you have to stand up for that after. It may sound true and just and chaste and all that, but we gotta, watch our step here because there's some things we can make promises that are we really going to keep them? Like, be rational about it and be forgiving of self about it. So it's healthy to set boundaries in relationships, practice expressing your needs, and remember, no is a complete sentence. Surrender, setting limits. So we may have a partner we have to set limits with. We may have some ups and downs in that department. Okay? So setting limits, surrender to, it's something we need to impose, right? We need to start putting limits on things that we allow others to stress upon us. And it's hard, like I said, when we're deep in the forest or high in the trees, above the trees, there's a different perspective there. When you have a partner that's right next to you dealing with those issues, or someone, a friend outside of you, it's easier to deal because you're not there 100% of the time, that kind of thing. No is a complete sentence, so we may have to learn how to say no more often in order to save ourselves here. So the zodiac reading card to shut it all down. What do we get for Taurus? Moon in Leo, heroism, 17, 7 and 1 is 8. Let your inner hero out. Moon in the ocean, it's weird. In a spacesuit. The sense they're giving me is we feel like an alien in our life at this point. Yet, we are more comfortable in our skin than we ever have. But I feel like we're getting outside feedback that's kind of reverbing in a way like, who are you? What are you doing? Da, da, da. And again, I feel like the Taurus has come across themselves finally to a degree that, okay, I'm not holding myself back anymore. I'm going to be myself outward to everybody else. I'm always sitting here not saying anything, not saying my opinion, and leaving myself out. I'm not doing it anymore. And we may find it shocking is what happens when we become ourselves more fully. And again, this may be, this may lead us to confusion in the future, but it's all part of the path of growth. This surrender to setting limits, talking about a partner and relationships, boundaries and relationships, is sitting very high in energy here with me. And then the first card was believing in self and beyond. We're just starting the road to self-discovery, and don't let anything, even your partner, get in the way of that. Let your inner hero out. The moon in Leo is be bold, be out there. Go and show yourself off with this new energy. It's not new to you, but it's going to be new to others, and they're going, go for it. This is your, they're showing me, a catwalk. Go, put your suit on, and walk your walk. That's what they're doing. It's your time to shine, so go and do it. And if we're feeling the least bit insecure, then we haven't done the self-work we need. But I don't feel so much that way. I feel we are kind of proud of who we are. So again, something happened to precipitate this change in self-worth or self. And whatever it was, it needed to happen, and just keep moving forward in that energy. And sometimes when you evolve, you have to evolve past certain people. Hopefully that's not your partner, but if it is, it's what's got to happen, and you will know that it'll be glaringly obvious to you. That. So, Moon in Leo, heroism, be your own hero of your life. You are starting to walk down that path. And they're showing me like putting a sash, like beauty pageants, but like putting the crown on the person as they're walking. This is what's going on with the Taurus. They're starting to understand who they are from the inside. So it's all good. It's all part of the flow. Again, confusion in the future, but you will get through it because you're Taurus. You just keep batting down the hatches. That's what they said. Anyway, take care, have fun, and be kind. That is your spirituality reading for July into August. And we will see you on the other side of Rumble with the love ratings coming here in the near future. Take care, have fun, and be kind.